what I have here are the Ruger Mark II, which is right here at the top, and the Ruger Mark III pistol. And I wanted to demonstrate the differences between the two quickly for the viewers at home who may have or had asked questions about the differences between the Mark II and the Mark III. And these are equivalent to the same model pistol that I purchased from Ruger, 5.5-inch bull barrel and 22 caliber. And the magazines are empty, as is indicated by the bolt being back, but also the chambers are empty as well, of course. When handling firearms, be sure that they are unloaded and pointed in a safe direction at all times. That being said, first thing I want to point out to the viewers, which will be extremely easy to pick up on, is where the magazine release is here. And on the Mark II, you don't have the classic John Moses Browning location for the thumb release here at the base of the trigger guard. Whereas here on the Mark III, you do have that release here. And so if I simply depress that button here on the Mark III, your magazine is able to release at that point and come out. Whereas on your Mark II, you don't have that button. Instead, what they have is this catch that kind of swings over like a moon. And so as the user simply pulls that back, it allows the magazine to come out. And from the side, you can see how it kind of catches like a little bit of a hook, like a fish hook. And then once you've bypassed where it catches on the base of the magazine, it pulls completely out there. And you can see here the difference between, hopefully you'll be able to see it in my hand. The lighting's good enough. They've actually, done a cutout here at the top of the magazine for the catch, which actually on the internals of the Mark III catch on this button here on the inside in your magwell to allow the magazine to lock into place. Whereas here that's not needed because that hook clips onto the bottom of the magazine. So the magazines are slightly different between the two models. What you'll also find is on this side of the pistol, let's see if I can center that up a little bit, there's a loaded chamber indicator on the Mark III, which is not present in the Mark II. On the Mark II, it's a solid piece of steel that's blued here with just Ruger's logo on it. Whereas here on the Mark III, what you'll notice, if I take my finger and I push it inside the chamber to activate a little button in there, or a little lever that would show you that there is a round in there, you can see here that there's this little lever that sticks out from it, and when it does, it shows this little red dot that's inside of there, and you can also feel that it exists. The trouble is, and this may be difficult to point out, is there's even more machine surfaces and areas that you have to clean inside of the pistol in the Mark III versus the Mark II, where you don't have nearly all that area inside the pistol to clean up, and the 22 being around that fouls a lot makes it even more prone to fouling and getting jammed up a little bit. And the final major difference, and you can see a little bit of this from the side profiles, is this is drilled and tapped, which I'll show in just a second. But you can also see here on the front sight that this front sight kind of just comes straight up here in this section, whereas on your Mark II it kind of hooks back a little bit on it. And as I rotate these pistols towards the viewer, and you can see it hopefully slightly, the rear sights here, this is tapered a little bit on the Mark III. It wasn't on the Mark II when I purchased it. Also, the front sights, it's a little wider here. It's a little bit more narrow on the Mark III. See if I can't kind of show that a little bit. And then finally, what you can notice here, which doesn't exist, and you can see from the top of it on the Mark II, but on the Mark III, they've actually drilled and tapped and got little set screws in so that you can add a Picatinny rail for different optics or electronics if you wanted to put it on the top of your target shooting pistol. But those are the major differences between the Mark II and the Mark III. Not significant, pretty minor actually, but for the most part, you can't purchase the Mark IIs anymore. But I would suspect that a lot of firearm stores that deal in used pistols would have probably some Mark IIs in the area that they could probably get in for you. In between the two, I would recommend the Mark II just because there's a slightly better design. They haven't tried to overcomplicate it. I understand the safety features on the Mark III, and maybe in today's society, there's a lot of people that would benefit from that, especially some new shooters. But in terms of overall robustness and performance, I found what you would consider some of the nicer things to have on the Mark III, such as the loaded chamber indicator, and specifically the mag release is what I was looking forward to. Ended up not panning out as well as I was hoping. So, I'll certainly be using the Mark II more than the Mark III, but I did by both pistols. So hopefully it clears up, at least the models that I've purchased, any of the differences between the Ruger Mark II and the Mark III. Thanks for watching.